All right, hey, I guess literally, I don't know if that even did a countdown. It just went straight. It just went straight in.
I literally think we went live with Lady Balefire saying raw dogging it.
That's
very much my style.
As was planned. I don't know. I see Doll, Cat Leo,
Hi, Doll. Cat
Skylin, ourselves are in the chat, so there's at least a couple people here. Obviously, it's us hanging out, and we got Gadfly Fiction on with us. We may have another guest who shows up a little bit later. I don't think there's any plan for what we're doing here, other than at some point we're going to do a tribute to Fitzy with Dane. I don't know. Gadfly may or may not be drinking. I think he's at work. Is this your office that we're looking at?
No, it's my home office. So
home office. Okay, so you can drink with us. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna crack open a hazy little thing IPA by Sierra Nevada, and I don't know. What do you guys drink? What are you guys drinking?
Spotted Cow by Naglaris Brewing Company.
Dude, we've had Spotted Cow several times on streams and or rewatches due to one of the two of us traveling around the region there. Spotted Cow's good beer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I live in Iowa, and it's basically crack the way it can be traded for just about any good or service.
Nice.
I had an old Milwaukee once, so to me, Wisconsin and good beer seem to be antithetical.
I almost bought an old Milwaukee today. I saw like a solo can of old Milwaukee in the little convenience store here on base, and I was like, generally as a rule of thumb, just as a joke and a prank to yourself, if you see old Milwaukee, you should buy old Milwaukee. I feel like.
Absolutely.
But I resisted it and got something that had a little higher alcohol content because I'm going to be switching to Radlers after this. They had a pack of Bitburger Radlers.
No, Pips. No one has ever said I'm switching to a higher alcohol content, and that is Radlers.
I said I got something that had higher alcohol content to start with. That's the hazy little thing IPA.
Oh, okay. So you're going down?
I need more beer to fill this up.
Yeah, do you want one? I have work tomorrow, so I'm like, hey, I'll start with like a somewhat high alcohol, and it's in a tight can, and then I'll coast. You know.
If you're drunk at work, do like people fall out of the sky or something?
Yeah, I'm flying tomorrow.
Bottom shelf.
Oh. Okay.
I have to be free from the effects.
I don't have to work tomorrow, and even if I did, yeah, okay.
I like watching Alex and Levy just like teleport in and out of their
it's like
background
Slimer.
there.
It's completely like Ghostbusters. It's awesome.
I was thinking it was more like Star Trek, where like the teleporter, like you materialize in, but
or the Doctor from Voyager.
Oh yeah, I like that.
State the nature of the medical emergency.
Beer run.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, tell them about this. Do you tell the story about the beer bill? Like show it off.
This is my.
I think you have to show it in front of your body.
It's a ghost beer.
It's the invisible.
There you go.
There you go.
We went like you're talking. You think Milwaukee doesn't have good beer? Like it's German. It's a German area, and there's just really crazy.
It's not very good.
This is from Mater's. It's been a restaurant in Milwaukee for 120 years.
Toe Mater.
Sort of.
MAT,
MADERS.
MAT.
And it's actually really cool because it has a bunch of the I think it's
the
16th century and 15th century traditional German arms and armor. There was and
an Ogier chair.
Yeah. And it.
I'll have to take my son.
It's
right. How big is he now, Pips?
He won't fit.
He's just like a short 32 inches tall at 9 months, so he's growing pretty quick. It's funny because
I can't wait for him to be in like sports, like when he's 3 or 4, and he just like manhandles the entire opposition, just like football. Here you go, son. run it to the other end. Soccer, same thing. It just pushes all the other kids out of the way. Hockey, forget about it. He'll be like the best goalie of all time.
He's another Jonah Lomu or Sebastian
Andre the
Chabal
Giant.
with rugby. Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Stick him
find
in
out.
the line and just.
Sky's the limit. You just
the
tell him
story
what he
of
wants to
Haloti
play.
Ngata's kid.
No.
Who?
There was a great player for the Ravens for a bunch of years. And the Baltimore Ravens were having family night. So all the kids were playing together. And one of a different player's kid came over to him and said, hey, this kid doesn't talk to me, or this kid won't talk. And so the player ended up going over to this giant lineman and goes, hey, you never told us that your kid was, like retarded. And he was like, what are you talking about? My kid's not retarded. And he was like, well, he doesn't talk. And he goes, well, yeah, he's 3. And it was one of those things that were like, that kid is 3? Like, that kid is giant.
Give him a contract already.
He looks like he can dunk.
I will say, so allegedly, the like heights and weights and stuff like that don't mean a whole lot at this age because like the variance is so high. Mm-hmm. So apparently between ages 2 and 4, it starts to like be much more indicative of like future sort of height. So if he's still like all the standard deviations above average by the time he's like 4, then yeah, he'll be a giant human. But it is funny because he like when you carry him, you are like very aware of like this is a giant baby. Because you're like, you carry him and you have to switch sides because otherwise you'll like, I'm not like the hugest, most jacked guy ever, right? But like I'm in good shape. And like if I carry him exclusively on one side for a day, like I'll like wake up the next day and like that side of like my back will have like a knot in it. And I'm just like, oh.
I can see Pip's going to like the baby store and being like, yeah, I need to get like a jumper kind of carrier for him. Like,
we have those carriers, man. We have all the baby
but it's just
carriers.
Like, I need extra reinforcements. And
Sir,
these are designed for toddlers. They're not designed for 12-year-olds. And Pips be like, he's 3. He's not.
So there's an Osprey bag, it's like a hiking backpack that you put the baby in, right?
Yep.
So it like folds down, but you pop it out and the baby sits in it and you can take it on hikes and stuff like that. And the youngest that a baby is supposed to be in it is generally like 6 to 9 months when they start like getting really solid head control and stuff like that. Is like that's what they say on the manufacturer thing. Like they have to be, strong enough to be able to kind of support themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Important, yeah.
And I don't know the actual weight limit. I was trying to see if I could find it here while we were talking about it. But I do know from like reading some posts and forums and stuff, like you have people who have their like 3, 4, 5-year-old kid, and they'll talk about still using this bag. Mm-hmm. My son at 9 months like is about to size out of the bag because he like you can't fit his legs like into the bag. Like you gotta like grease him up. He like gets stuck, and his little feet are just like dangling all the way out of it. It's just very comical. What the heck, man?
Man, you showed like a size chart like on the Discord. I think this was like a month or 2 ago, where it's just like
as well, yeah.
You had the percentile bands, and then you had your son, who is like 8 standard deviations outside of it. Which, if you know anything about statistics, is like, if it's normally distributed, like size and weight usually are, 8 standard deviations is like something that comes along once in the lifetime of like 3 universes. So,
Pip says
what's going on?
9-month-year-old
just given birth to Galactus or something.
Yeah, exactly. Is that
it's
who your
not
son
Pip,
is?
it's Loyal. That's the dad.
Anyway, hey, we don't need to talk about my son the whole time. I did have one story that was kind of sad that I wanted to bring up. not like sad, sort of cute, also sad. So I'm currently on base doing my reserve drill for the weekend. So I FaceTimed with my wife this afternoon, just like, hey, he wasn't feeling super great, didn't have a good nap or whatever, so he's kind of fussy. And I was like, oh, I'll talk to him, right? And so we start the FaceTime, and he sees me, and he gets really excited, and he starts like jumping up and down and like giggling, but the giggling then turns into he like hyperventilates and then starts crying, and it's just like he saw me and got so excited, and he wanted to like play with me, I guess, and then I'm not actually there, and he got mad. So
see, you got to come back, Pips.
So I was like, damn, okay, well, the FaceTime chats for the next couple months while I'm deployed again may be rough if this is the norm.
But that's good development of more complex emotions, though, right?
Yeah. It was less good when he turns to my wife when she's trying to like, oh, it's fine, and he just like smacks her.
Wait, what?
He like
where
wound
did he learn that?
He just wound up and like smacked her like right in the face.
Ow!
It was just like, ugh.
Could you imagine that in like 2 months when he's like the size of a 12-year-old?
He's 80 pounds.
Babies are little tyrants. But anyway, there you go. That was my story. That he's not learning that from me. I need to establish the record now. I don't know where he's learning that behavior. You guys are all my witnesses. Anyway, Gadfly, are you drinking anything? What have you been up to, man?
Yeah, I'm drinking this Legacy Heritage apple cider mead.
Oh, nice. This sounds delicious.
You always have very good sounding drinks.
Yeah, it's an independent little small place out in Nova Scotia that one of my brothers, when he was over there, picked up some of the stuff for me. So going through that, and it's small doses of this stuff.
Yeah, mead can be like, especially with like cider or something sweet on sweet, it can be intense maybe.
What's the alcohol content of that thing?
Because it's such a little boutique place,
9%.
It doesn't.
They don't even tell you.
In civilized countries, they don't have to put that on the bottle. They just trust you.
Oh man.
Yeah. But so it's quite tasty. It's very aromatic, which is nice. Because having sampled a lot of different meads, I can tell you that the ones that don't have a good aroma or strong aroma are the ones that are absolutely vile.
I think we got a few of those out west. There's some people trying to make a go of doing meaderies out in Alberta, but that has largely to do with us being the 5th largest supplier of honey in the world.
Oh,
who knew?
That's interesting.
You got Berta beef and now Berta mead. That's the
Berta bees.
Berta bees.
There you go. That's what they should name the meadery. There should be a Berta bees mead.
There probably is.
Go buy the website.
If there isn't, I'm gonna go buy the website, register the domain, get the corporation all set up, then set up an apiary, and I could be like Homer Simpson for 3 years.
You might have a little bit of a legal battle with Burt's bees.
No, I won't. I would crush them.
One's Berta, one's Bert. It's like the female version of Bert. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Jane, no, I won't. I would crush them.
See, my enemy is driven before me, and hear the lamentations of their women. Mm-hmm. That's what would happen.
Speaking of Conan, I found the Conan anthology of stories, and I've been reading it, and it's pretty good. I kind of took a break from reading Elric, and it's interesting reading it because they're both like all of the stories in chronological order as they were published. And so I think I stopped on like the third Elric story, and now I'm at the second or third like Conan one. And it's interesting to see the parallels because Elric is a bit of a dark Conan.
My buddy got me this one.
Nice.
So
That's beautiful.
Hardback. It's got all the complete, basically, Robert E. Howard set of Conan. I've only dived a little bit into this. I don't think I've gotten that far, but now this is a must to own.
I'm always torn about hardbacks in that, like, I mean, even the Wheel of Time ones that I have, I don't actually like reading hardbacks that much. I prefer reading a paperback.
Yeah.
So I find that, like, I end up, especially like with Wheel of Time, where I, like the series and I've read it a bunch. I have like hardbacks, paperbacks, ebooks, and audiobooks of all of them.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, the one thing that I've been thinking about recently is, it's mostly because of the Cosmere stuff. They're starting to come out with the leather bounds. Like, what would it take to fill up a shelf with just leather bound special editions of like great books?
Dane's just like, yeah, that's
like get the Everyman's
Are those all leather bounds?
They're not leather bound, but they're like hardback with a ribbon and cloth cover with a dust jacket.
Okay.
Name the book. I probably have it.
There
if
you
you're
go.
talking serious classics. This
I was going to say, name something by Brandon Sanderson.
Not a classic. I got 3 Brandon Sanderson books, and they're at the tail end of that Wheel of Time thing. That's it. But seriously, like,
oh my god!
Okay.
Okay. Now the book porn is starting.
Right.
Now the
book porn is starting. But before you're gonna like head over to the
we did this.
anal, can we do Lord B? Name a classic book, and let's see if I have it.
Plato's Timaeus. I was listening to someone talk about.
Sorry, your wife.
I said Catcher in the Rye. She said Plato's Timaeus.
That's part of the dialogue, technically.
Catcher in the Rye is terrible, and I don't know
like,
the other one.
Both of those are terrible.
Catcher in the Rye is terrible. That's actually why I picked it. I
actually was going to say that was a very strategic. That was a good pick there, because
that's the book that Butters read, and then it made him kill all the Kardashians. No, wait.
Yeah, so like
made someone else
a good aspirational text.
Okay, and Skylet is saying Oliver Twist, but like the thing is, like, all of Dickens is in the Everyman's Library, but you could buy like all the Dickens in like a set for like $200 or whatnot, and it just hasn't been available on Amazon. So I don't.
So
have
when
any
you
Dickens.
bought it, you were like, just give me the little Dickens collection.
I've only got Tale of Two Cities, and I regretted buying Tale of Two Cities because then afterwards I saw, oh wait, I could buy all the Dickens stuff in a collection, and it's similar to Jane Austen. I got no Jane Austen up there because all 8 of her novels.
That I was gonna say, that's what, yeah.
All right, you beat me to it.
You got, you got the thing.
Oh, there you go.
This is only 4.
Only 4?
Which only 4? Yeah.
Tales
only
of
half a
Cities,
Dickens.
Christmas Carol, Oliver Twist, and
it's not Oliver Twist. Hard Times and Great Expectations.
Okay.
I'm gonna use Great Expectations as an example of why I thought that assigned reading in school is a terrible blight on the literary mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have the complete Shakespeare in. Oh, I don't have Lewis Carroll. He's not in the Evermans. He should be. I should look that up.
Wow.
Oh, the Bronte sisters, the period joke from Family Guy. I love that one.
So many books like Great Expectations, I had to read in school, and had, English and literature and teachers who had you like, all right, we're gonna read the next several chapters, and then we're gonna take a quiz, and we're gonna do a literary critique on some page, and you're gonna have to diagram the sentences and do all this garbage, right? If there is a way constructed to make someone hate reading, I think English school teachers have perfected that method.
Oh, college was that like the way for me, because I got we'd have to read like 3 to 4 novels a week between all my classes, and so you just get sick of reading, and then they'd be like, okay, here's read an essay about it, and then the essays just came by route for me. It was like, okay, here's your argument, intro, like blah blah blah, 3 paragraphs, that's it. And it just became so annoying to always just be reading something, and you're reading for like literary analysis, so you're looking for like diction and like themes and other stylistic choices that you could write papers about. And it just got to a point when I was done with college, I said, nope, I can't read fiction for a while, and I've read nonfiction for a really long time. So I just had to get myself out of that mindset.
So I was talking about high school, but yeah, it was the literary analysis type of reading that I thought just absolutely killed the enjoyment of reading a book. And I don't know, maybe you guys have a different perspective on this. I think
the issue lies in the repetitive nature of the book that you're given to read. They all end up, doing like the same themes, same structures within all the different books, and so when you're reading them, you're just like, okay, I see what's going on. But if you have like a wide variety of different types of books, different types of stories, then it's much easier for people to retain their interest in them.
Which is sadly probably a little bit too difficult to do in a high school setting, or even in a specific university course setting. So you'd get that appreciation if you were at university taking English Lit. Hopefully, you like take the various different subjects with different story, but like take a class on mysteries, for example, and read all of Arthur Conan Doyle and Agatha Christie and whatnot. And take a class on Shakespeare and learn, the structures of his plays, where his roots came from, always the play within a play, the mid-play climax, those types of things. Like, I agree, high schools, our modern education does not do a decent job of literary appreciation. But in the last couple of years, I think as much as how much of our pop culture has basically gone to shit, I've really enjoyed learning everything that I've learned via osmosis, YouTube, and everything about story critique and criticism. And I think it's invaluable, because when I saw The Force Awakens, I knew it sucked. I couldn't articulate why it sucked.
Yeah, you could.
Now I can.
You couldn't do it so eloquently, but you could articulate.
There's a shitty remake of A New Hope. I mean,
but I wanted to like segment and list my arguments and be very specific. Like the Max Landis video about the Mary Sue. That was the first time I'd ever heard that, right? Because I was not plugged into what writers were plugged into about like what makes a good character, what makes a shitty character. Why do characters need growth? Like I get hit with that, and I'm like, well, wait a second. What about James Bond? What about Sherlock Holmes? And I'm like, well, that's an iconic character. They're supposed to stay static. People identify with them because they're a template, or not a template. They're an icon. Sorry,
like an archetype, maybe.
Yeah, the difference between a static and a dynamic character.
Exactly.
I will agree.
How
with what
does
you're saying.
how does a static character work in a story versus how does a dynamic character? Because we're interested in Luke Skywalker's growth story, but we're interested in Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. Not because we expect any growth in him whatsoever. We expect him to basically be the smartest man in the room at the end of the film and explain everything to us.
That was one of the most bizarre interjections I've ever heard. We enjoy Sherlock Holmes stories, comma, the Robert Downey Jr. films, comma, and we expect him to be the smartest. Like, you didn't enjoy the Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle books? Like,
oh no, I enjoyed I'm
Comparing
drinking,
movies.
Alex. Come on, like, I'm comparing movies and film, but it's like that. Does Robert Downey Jr. his character in those two films? He doesn't really go through growth arcs at
No.
all. He's not
which is
supposed to.
actually kind of what I was gonna jump in and say here. So I don't know. I think we're probably all on the same page. Maybe I'll ask this: does anyone think that like new Bond is actually the best James Bond?
Fuck no.
No.
Okay, all right. Then we're all agreed here. So what I was going to say is that maybe the problem that that the Daniel Craig James Bond, they tried to take an iconic character and turn him into a dynamic character. That over the course of those movies, they tried to have him go through a growth and do serious character change.
No. The problem's everything to do with it. Everything got woke about 10 years ago. But Casino Royale, for example, as a film, I watched it recently. If they were going to do the James Bond as a growth arc, like see a character become James Bond, they wouldn't have done Casino Royale the way they did. Because he was James Bond from the fucking start.
Yeah.
Right? Agreed. So I think
he got his 2 kills in the opening, but he had no growth throughout any of that. And he, like, if anything, his whole interaction with Vesper by the end, and like, okay, he thought he was going to be out and he resigned, and then he had like his hot girlfriend and tons of money and everything was good, and then she died betraying him, and then going back. He basically retrograded in the final 10% of that film.
Sure.
Because he is the iconic character. He's the static character. You can't move.
But what about the rest of the movies, right? Because I would argue that Casino Royale, of all of the Daniel Craig movies, is actually the most sort of James Bond of the movies. Now, I still think it suffers. I still think it suffers from the like, why am I watching a Jason Bourne movie that is called a James Bond movie, right? Like, there's still very much that problem with the Casino Royale movie, where they tried to turn him into an action hero, right? I agree, and I forget which James Bond actor. I think it was Roger Moore made that comment. Made that an official statement that Austin Powers killed the James Bond franchise because you couldn't be campy and you couldn't have fun with the tropes anymore because Austin Powers lampooned them like too successfully.
He'll never be the head of a major corporation.
But the idea being that, like, okay, Casino Royale,
not a good time to lose one's head.
So we're not going to argue about if Casino Royale was any
He'll
good.
never get ahead in life.
Damn it. But like the rest of the series was like all this like very sort of I don't know, tragic character arc of like his life professionally, personally falling apart over the next 3 or 4 movies that, like, I'll be honest, I can barely remember the names of. Like,
it's just the deconstruction
Quantum of Solace,
genre.
Spectre, Skyfall.
I think Skyfall came before Spectre.
Yeah, I think Skyfall came first. Spectre was the first Bond movie that I ever like legitimately just fell asleep in the middle of while watching.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I think fundamentally what they forgot was the number one and most important thing about James Bond is that James Bond is the coolest motherfucker of all time, all the time.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, in the last movie when he's riding bitch on that chick's moped,
didn't watch it.
Yeah,
Don't do this to me, Alex.
He's not a relatable character.
He's not supposed to be.
He's an aspirational character. I want to be James Bond.
It's very much the same thing with Hercule Poirot and the recent remakes of those films.
Agatha Christie ones, right?
Yeah. Well, there's Disney. I think it was Disney who did them. They did like Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, that one
others,
was like,
but they
that was bleak. It was such a
they
bleak production.
completely
Death on the Nile, and then
negated
the Venice one. Yeah,
the Hercule Poirot character by trying to make him more relatable, more human in most of the moments, right? Whereas when you go through the books and the David Suchet ones do a very good job of this, where he seems almost alien for a large part, but you see that that determined grit to see justice done throughout the entirety of the stories, and the reader or the viewer resonates with that, and they see the determination and all these other characteristics along with Poirot's excellence, and so they love that. But it's not because he's an everyman type character that you're supposed to look and be like, oh, he could be my neighbor, which the recent films try to do. I think that's what the James Bond films were trying to do as well.
With Poirot, did you see the ABC Murders miniseries with John Malkovich? Any of you guys watch it? It was a miniseries on, I don't know, one of the streaming services or something like that. That one I thought was potentially different in that, like, it didn't try to make him super relatable, I guess. Like, it humanized him a little bit in that it was from his perspective, and so like that's going to be humanizing, and he, you know, makes mistakes and things like that, and that humanizes him a little bit. But like, I don't know, I'm not as familiar with the source material on that, but I thought it was good.
Poirot,
seen it.
Poirot is very human in that, like, he does make mistakes and stuff, but he catches himself throughout the end, through the progress of the story.
How many Christie novels are there about Hercule Poirot? There's dozens, aren't there?
Yeah. There's.
Are we counting the?
It's like there are more of these books than there are Anne Rice vampire novels.
Yeah.
That's not even counting the Ms. Marple ones as well.
Well, if we're counting those, are we counting the Ryan Johnson?
No, fuck off.
No. Okay, hey, I've had this comment pulled up. Staplebow's asked favorite Bond. Obviously, I think it has to be favorite Bond other than Sean Connery, because otherwise, like, we could all just say Sean Connery.
No, we could fight for the next 25 minutes about which one was the best Connery film, but you're all wrong. It's Goldfinger.
It's Goldfinger.
I tend to agree, actually.
I
So I'm gonna be bold here. My favorite Bond is actually Pierce Brosnan.
Man.
Yeah.
I actually totally agree with you. I'm 100% on board.
Oh boy.
100% on board. Everyone else can suck it. I'm 100% on board.
Sean Connery beat his ass, like,
probably, but Pierce Brosnan is the coolest.
So
it's outside of Connery. Like,
yeah, outside of Connery.
Well,
he's saying best. Okay, well,
now
then I put
Connery
above. I put Connery above. I say Pierce Brosnan as my favorite non-Connery Bond. For what you just said, Pierce Brosnan was just, I mean, like, yeah, he's just so cool. Like, he's just the man.
If you see how big of a chubby chaser he is in real life, and then you see him like go after
it's
Bond
called
girls,
acting, Dane.
Precisely, you can appreciate the acting once you recognize that.
Yeah, I'm sure he was having a real tough time going down on Halle Berry in that movie.
Exactly, because Halle Berry was like not outweighing him by 200 pounds. That's tough.
Hey, maybe he likes plump women like Robert Jordan did.
He does.
That's so funny.
Okay.
I don't think he did, but like in Wheel of Time, there's always talking about like plump
bosoms.
By the way,
anyways,
I read the thing the other day, and I was reminded of the bit with the question, why does Rand have 3 girlfriends? And his response was, well, a while back I was dating 2 women at the same time, and you know, they were aware of each other. They were very comfortable with it. You know, it was like an official thruple or whatever. And
they scheduled shit.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, why don't I have a third?
Yeah, so I figured if I could handle 2, then Rand can definitely handle 3. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
RJ was the man. Can I circle back?
Like, oh my god,
Can I circle back one more moment about why Pierce Brosnan is the best Bond other than Sean Connery?
Go for
it.
Because the Pierce Brosnan Bond canon gave us Rosamund Pike being stabbed to death.
Ooh, compelling.
Compelling.
I have to revisit this.
She was Frost or whatever her name was, and she got killed by Halle Berry in
Halle
that
Berry
movie.
killed her.
Yeah, and after watching Wheel of Crime, I am much more in favor of that. Not that I'm suggesting any violence against any person.
No, but that was
Pike is just an actress.
That was the same movie as the super invisible Aston Martin.
Fuck yeah, it was.
Oh
dude, it was awesome.
that Aston Martin was
badass.
badass.
And the sky laser.
I want one of those.
Okay,
is that one guy with the
sky laser is like straight out of
yeah.
Moonraker is the first thing. Like,
yeah.
So if you're gonna give Pierce Brosnan any credit for that, you gotta it's Roger Moore.
I'm only giving him credit for Miranda
killing
Frost
Rosamund Pike,
getting stabbed to death.
I'd give that more to Halle Berry.
I mean, in the way that a Trolloc sword to the chest should have killed her, we got to see what should have happened. You know? So it's sort of a meta analysis reason for why.
Plus we got to see how she should have looked because she was 20 when she did the Bond.
That's also true,
right?
Yeah. And I said I don't age. So there's
and
that.
It's proof that she does.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're watching the White Cloaks, we have to be somewhat sufficiently bigoted and talk about Wheel of Crime. I feel like we've.
This isn't bigoted. This is just sexist, and we have a girl on, so it's okay.
I was gonna say, baby, was it you or was it my sister who coined the phrase "Botox bewilderment"?
That was me.
That was you.
Yeah, she just does. She has that
Look at this distinguished gentleman rolling in.
The man, the myth, the legend, which is good because I have to roll out of here because I have to get up at 5 a.m. But
still in Arizona?
I am, yeah.
Arizona.
Oh, okay.
I gotta switch the camera. Too many friggin' devices.
I had to turn mine off for stupid hotel Wi-Fi speeds, but
actually, Ozzy, the sad reason is if his son watches this, his son will claw at the video and being like, I want to play, and then he'll get
his
mad.
wife might get hurt.
And then he'll domestic abuse my wife.
I'm backwards here. Here's my Wheel of Time short set here, right?
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
I love it. I love that built-in bookshelf too. That's hot.
Yeah.
Hey, you never complimented me on my built-in bookshelf.
I liked it, and then you painted it not turquoise, and now I'm like, speak to the hand.
It is only half the size of Ozzy's, though. But it's not the size of the bookshelf.
Well, his bookshelf isn't full yet, but this is like his second home, so I think I can forgive him that.
Second home. So
yeah, but before I go to bed, I want to get you guys all to listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl. I know we've been going on about it. You guys should really listen to it. Like, we're talking about it. Whose channel were we on anyways?
We were on Steve's
channel. Like, just now talking about book 2. It is a great
give us a spoiler-free elevator pitch.
30-second elevator pitch.
Okay.
So this is almost impossible.
How?
Because
you're not even gonna let me try.
Well, I'm going to let you try, but I'm going to say there's almost no way to give the elevator pitch of this and make it not sound stupid. And even acknowledging that,
love it already.
It's incredibly excellent.
Okay.
Is it hard to make not sound stupid in the same way that like Discworld is hard to describe and make it not sound stupid?
Very much so. The context would basically be if you combined Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Dante's Inferno, and Borderlands the video game.
Wait, is Borderlands the video game the one that like completely crashed? No, wait, that was a different one. That was like because it was so woke.
So that's interesting.
Which one was that?
I don't know. Like
Jane, that's so many fucking movies. Like
that's all of them.
Oh,
it's every movie.
Yeah, they made a Borderlands movie and it was awful. And
I think he was talking about the games.
Oh, they made the Borderlands movie. There was a game that sucked recently. Okay, no, I think I know what you're talking about because it was a Borderlands movie that was or game that was popular. They made a movie that's like Staple Bow has Dustborn. Dustborn sucked.
Dustborn
and Concord.
Unknown 9 Awakening. There's
And
been
the
a
new
bunch
Star
of
Wars
them.
one.
Yeah.
There as many movies as have been terrible and died because of wokeness. There have been that many video games also.
But yeah,
I'm intrigued by your description because I would say Hitchhiker's Guide combined with, genre fiction is like that's the best way to describe Discworld probably is like Hitchhiker's Guide like combined with like I don't know, sort of Dungeons and Dragons fantasy and
that's kind of like that too.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
Well,
maybe
there's
like
an element
First
of
Rule
your-
or something like that. Like, what I don't know how you would pick like the style of fantasy that Discworld is, but like it's very much
there's
Hitchhiker's Guide with fantasy.
There's an irreverence to Hitchhiker's
Yes.
Guide, which is there in Discworld. Whereas most other fantasy, at least because they're trying to establish the world, takes itself somewhat seriously.
Yes.
Discworld, I always got it had that irreverent element. People liked it, I didn't. So I think that's where this might be going.
So to give you an idea, the group reading Dungeon Crawler Carl now is myself, Lady B, obviously, Prophet of the Dragon, Techmex, and Eldan. Those were the people that
Man of Manetheren.
and Man of Manetheren. Those are the people on the screen. So like, I would like to think that you hold that group of people in fairly high esteem when it comes to their taste in literature.
I don't know, at least half those people are big fans of the Sanderson final 3 books. So
Or any of them.
Regardless,
It's a really fun book.
Regardless.
I would say, take it from me though. Listen to the audiobook because I'm afraid I haven't read any of the actual books, but I am totally afraid if I did read them, I'd die of AIDS just because of the way it's written. But however, it makes an awesome audiobook, and the guy that does the voices is fantastic. Like I was just blown away by this guy's talent. It's one guy doing all the readings, and it's pretty crazy.
Interesting. So okay. I've had books like that before where the audiobook reader I feel like essentially made the book. Where like I don't think that I would have read it. Or I don't think I would have enjoyed it any other way. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Like I
afraid
said,
you're
it's already on my list. I have like a stack of both nonfiction and fiction books that I still need to keep reading. I'm currently going through Malazan, and I'm willing to take a pause at the end of this Malazan book to do some other reading. But I have some nonfiction books on my list first. So it's one of those things where I balance my audiobook schedule versus my physical book schedule. So I might slot in Dungeon Crawler after Malazan because I'm doing audiobooks of Malazan. And Staple Bow, I'm on book 3.
See, my thing with Malazan and the audiobooks is Malazan doesn't give a fuck about you. Like,
No.
I struggled with that on the audiobook because I needed to read that shit. Because there's none of that shit where at the beginning of the book they're like, and now we join our intrepid heroes, main characters A, B, and C as they do in their quest to do it. It's like, nope, we are right into it. There's no mercy.
So
you have no idea who these people are or what they did or why this is significant, but in 7 books, it'll become apparent to you.
I did struggle with the first half of the first book, just like starting to give a shit with the different characters. The second book was a little bit rough because like all of the stuff that I liked, all the characters that I liked most in the first book, basically like sat out the second book and like were never mentioned. And you're just like, oh,
Coltane was pretty
really?
good, though.
I did like Coltane, yeah. And then, so by the second half of the second book, again, I was like, okay, like I'm back into this, I'm invested, like this is going well. And then book 3 joined back with the characters that I liked in the first book. So book 3 didn't have that like lull in the first part of the book where I was like struggling to pay attention. But anyway, that's Malazan. I feel like we haven't properly brought Ozzy actually
on,
in now that
yes.
he's fixed
Ozzy
out
has.
his
Yeah.
cameras.
Yep.
We should give him some time.
I'm good.
What are you drinking,
You guys are
Ozzy?
good.
He's got some in a can I saw.
Uh-oh.
He transferred it to a glass because he's a gentleman.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, very nice.
I'm drinking straight out of the can. He
I'm
has
drinking
a
a
glass.
hazy IPA.
Hey,
So is
there you go.
Bibbs.
Me too.
Yeah. In a Montana Whitefish Brewing glass. So
Ooh, there you
That's
go.
cool.
it won't explode. It's a good, valid mixture. So
That's awesome.
How's Arizona, dude?
good to see you guys. Where's Gadfly? Is he taking a nap? Did you guys tell him?
Oh no, he's coming. He's just dealing with some of his brother right now. So
And Dane, I hate to ask, but what's with the moniker there? What happened to Fitz?
So I had to let him go.
Oh no! Well,
So it's
then
this
this is for Fitzy. Okay,
Fitzy.
To Fitzy.
cheer, guys.
Fitzy.
Cheers.
My boy was born during the Bush administration.
Oh,
I had him for the last 4 years. I took him. So about 6-7 months ago, he had really bad pain. And I had to take him into the vet, and they said, yeah, his arthritis is acting up. So they told me about this wonder drug, which is like cortisone for dogs,
yeah.
called Librela. So he was getting a shot of that every month. So I was taking him to a vet regularly, and obviously to give him his dosage, they weighed him, and it really hit home last Friday. So a week ago today, he had lost half a kilo. So he lost a full pound. He's a small dog, right? So
Yeah.
he was usually a 12-pound dog, but he was getting down to about 9 pounds. And I saw him. He wasn't eating food. He wasn't drinking enough. The vets talked to me about kind of quality of life and what's going on with him. I thought he was sick for the last month, and I thought he was getting better off of that. So his breathing was getting better, but his appetite was gone. His quality of life wasn't there. He began peeing in his bed, which is another sign. So just didn't have that control. And so he woke up that Saturday morning totally wet and feeling ashamed and whatnot. So it was kind of sad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at 17 and 7 months, he wasn't going to get better.
Yeah.
Right. This wasn't
that's a good doggy life, Dane. I mean, that's
I know.
long.
hitting 17, no matter even if you're a small dog, that's huge. You know, that's
no. And
he finally couldn't outrun the explosion in the keep. So
no, at the end of the day, the message that I had to digest was like, if I kept him around longer, it was just going to be for me, and he was going to suffer for me, which I didn't want him to do, and he wasn't going to tell me. He wasn't going to like whine and bark and say like, "Hey, I'm done," kind of thing. So
Yeah.
no, it was rough, but we had a final day in the sun. I got some final good pics with him. My dad was nice enough to drive me in to the vet because I know I probably would have crashed on the way, but I was feeding him salami and prosciutto the whole time in. So he was having a blast actually on his last day. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Nice.
Feels kind of like trickery on my part, but
well, no, that's fair.
You did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Took care of him.
Stuff we've all been through it. Those of us with pets, you know, it's
I know.
He went peacefully. I gotta go pick him up tomorrow in powdered form, to be as crass as that. But I found a good spot for him underneath a sapling.
Nice.
So my folks have got an acreage next to a park, and there's a budding tree in the sun. So I'm gonna dig a hole for him at the base and put a stone over him, and he can be in the sun every morning until end of time.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Nice.
well, he'll be immortalized in your book. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is true. He's going to be on your.
Just the paws left over.
Oh yeah, Trip mentioned that, and then I don't think she read far enough. You did. He explodes in the book, though.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
You just find the paw.
He outran the explosion for a long time. You know,
No, he didn't. A little bit. That's
All right, you still have time
What-
to
what
change
I-
the ending.
what
You
I-
can change.
no,
you can
I-
swap his name for another character. You can swap. Do a
no,
little swap.
no. If you understand, I can't swap the name because the name has got additional meaning to it, and I can't swap how it happens. And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's meant to be a gut punch. It's just right now, it's a punch I'd rather not take. But at the time, I thought like, I'll be fine with it
Yeah.
when this happens. But
Well, time is the healer, right? So,
Yeah.
but on a happier topic, Lord B, Alex, Iowa kicking the Huskies' ass is the second high point of my year, other than the Cougs kicking the Huskies' ass.
I was gonna say, man.
Wait, are they your team?
Six?
The Huskies
Which
is
one?
Washington, right?
The Huskies
which
are
one
in
does Ozzy
Washington.
cheer for?
The Cougars
Maybe
are Washington
easy now.
State.
Okay, you're the Cougars.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
I'm just.
fighting words.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I always get them confused. So
She does. She can't even get Iowa. and
I know
Iowa
with state,
straight.
and I'm a ISU person because I do the Master Gardening.
This
thing,
is
and I
the
always
Cougars, Lady B.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. I know
Not the
the
Huskies.
the logo.
It's one of those things. She's really good at remembering the animal if there's only one of them in a state.
Mhm.
Like, she gets Michigan Wolverines. She gets Wisconsin Badgers. It's when you start throwing Iowa and Iowa State at her that she gets
Yeah.
swapped.
We're the poor little brother.
Not this
what do
year.
they have in Oregon?
Not this year.
They're
They got
We're
they got
6-1.
ducks, right?
Ducks
the
and beavers.
Ducks and
Ducks and
Beavers.
Oh,
Who names these things?
Yeah, Oregon
Battle of
is the lamest
Battle of
state.
the century there.
Yeah, Ducks and Beavers.
Yep.
So
Well, I gotta say, I was checking my standings and I saw the Cougs are in first place in the Pac-12.
yeah, we are. There's only two teams, but yeah.
I was
You didn't need
I was
to
gonna say
volunteer
the Pac-12. I was like, how many teams are in the Pac-12 these days?
Well, this year there's two. Next year there'll be
Pac-12.
two. Right now we have in 2
But
years.
is that
we'll
an
have-
inside joke or is there 12?
No,
We
there
have-
used to be
No,
12.
there used to be 12, Dane, but now there's two. They all left. Yeah, you guys that don't follow this, but at least Alex and I do. We got totally
what?
screwed by the Huskies and the Ducks. Pac-12 melted down. There's two teams left. We've signed five
Wait, you're
more
in a-
football teams
you're
and
in a-
one more. Gonzaga also joined, but we still need one more school to be able
Wait,
to
but
make
you're-
the conference. We need one more.
You're in
football
a 2-team league and you're winning?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that sounds like CFL.
yeah.
Oh,
We're
we won the
actually
Grey
playing
Cup
them
again.
twice
Oh, well,
next
okay.
year.
Now, Dan, I know what you're thinking. How is it called the Pac-12 if there's only two teams?
Well,
How
how's
many
the Big
how-
Ten
yeah.
called the Big Ten when there's
Uh,
18 teams?
I was going to say, how many teams do you think are in the Big Ten?
Or the Big 12?
That's
right?
another American league.
Babe.
I don't know, 10?
Be kind to them. They're football players. They have like an 80 IQ.
I know.
Also,
how to
I mean,
count.
that's like one of the least egregious sort of freedom unit measurement systems that we've got.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
We're now the Pac-12 in metric. It's equal
Yeah,
to
exactly.
two.
Wait, no.
There's a conversion.
That wouldn't change, metric or Fahrenheit. Or whatever the
Metric Fahrenheit.
That's hilarious. Oh, I wanted to show you this before I go to bed. I tried to get Alex to read Name of the Rose, and he thinks it's too pedantic. But
That's
I
not
found
true.
you can't see it. I found another Umberto Eco book, Foucault's Pendulum. Have you read
Oh,
it?
yeah. I actually have that book. Umberto
I found
Eco.
it. Yeah, this is Foucault's Pendulum.
Lady
or however
B,
you
I
say that.
couldn't make it through. I never finished it.
You never did? I thought it was interesting. I'd give it a try because I really like Name of
Well,
the Rose. And Dane got me on that book, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? You killed these guys. What the hell?
Maybe because it was translated. I think it was originally written.
Yeah, it was in Italian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, he
But I have
has
that
it.
book.
Is it
man.
good?
Good pull.
Good pull.
It's Foucault's Pendulum is it's pretty wonky. It's like conspiracy theory, sci-fi, Knights Templar, like
So it's like Dan Brown before Dan Brown.
I was going to say,
and also
the Da Vinci Code.
it's
or the
Dan Brown
110
and
IQ.
it's national. It's Dan Brown National Treasure, but like done by someone
That no shit.
85 more IQ points.
Cool. I'll
Gadfly,
read
have you
it.
read that? Buckholes Pendulum?
You know, the Italians are the last people that it's still PC to make fun of. So, you know, he doesn't have to say nice things about this guy either.
Okay,
You can
I
still
really
call
have
him a
to go to
wop
bed.
and-
I'm gonna love you and leave you. My love, if you want to stay on, go for it.
I'll be following up pretty quick.
Yeah.
See ya. Have a good night.
Good
Oh,
night.
But I
that's
hope you're-
beautiful. Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
hope you're reading this one.
I am. I'm on.
Oh.
I'm on chapter 8.
Nice.
Which book was that?
Name of the
Name
Rose.
of the Rose.
It's great.
Okay.
I love it. Fun.
Mystery. Gotta like mystery.
Yep. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Good night.
See ya.
Yep.
I definitely need to do a better job of reading through my backlog here. So I've got my physical book that I'm reading right now is Micromotives and Macro Behavior by Thomas Schelling.
I've heard great things about that.
So it is a good book. I've enjoyed it so far. It's one of those things where like I feel like if you have read a fair number of kind of behavioral economics books before, it's not necessarily so groundbreaking. Like if you've read like Freakonomics before or something like that, you're probably not going to be like quite as blown away and like as interested in it. But when you consider that he wrote this book like 60 years ago, you know, it's a little more like, okay, this is one of the sort of foundational books for this field, similar to Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow. How like most people don't read Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, they read Blink by Gladwell, or they read, you know, something else, right? But like Kahneman's book is way better, but like if you've already read Blink, Kahneman's book is now like a little bit less interesting, even though that book actually holds up super well because it just is very well written and the vignettes are
It's
super
based
good.
on a lot of research and a lot of.
Yes.
It was mandatory reading for us, you know, in our company. Our CEO pretty much said,
Really?
"You shall read this Thinking Fast and Slow book."
Interesting.
We did, yeah. So
Gladwell is also more pop psych and pop
Yes,
stats.
100%. Yeah.
And so that's it's much more accessible for
Yep.
a typical person who doesn't necessarily, I guess, best way to put it, have the patience to get to grips with the terminology and the ideas and the evaluations of the studies, and more so just wants the synopsis of what's going on.
What I will give Gladwell credit for is that as a sort of pop psych author, you know, I mean, I think he's a journalist, not a sort of researcher, right? But as you know, within his field and what he's writing, he actually does a very good job, I think, of actually telling you sort of who he's lifting from. So, like, I've read some of his books and then
Just
gone
like
on
Kamala
to,
Harris, right? And we're canceled.
I've gone on.
Or are we?
I've gone on to
Wikipedia,
read
everyone.
the other
People
books.
will check that shit. Just so you know.
So he, you know, he's a good entry level book, like you said, but even better than a lot of those types of books, he actually, like, you can read his book and get a decent sort of primer and like a reading list on like, hey, do you want to learn more? And like, go read these books. So I do respect him for that he's pretty transparent that like he's not the guy coming up with these ideas, which shows a level of humility as an author to just be like, no, hey, like I'm actually just being a journalist and I thought these were some interesting things and here's the people who actually came up with these interesting ideas.
But I'll take all the money.
See, I remember
Hey,
my introduction to Gladwell was actually The Blind Side, and I left that book thinking to myself, wow,
Michael
Malcolm
Lewis book.
Gladwell understands neither football nor IQ differentiation.
No, Alex, that's a Michael Lewis book.
I'm sorry, Michael
Yeah.
Lewis. That's not Malcolm.
I was I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think he wrote that book.
You're right. Malcolm
Liar's
Gladwell
Poker, The Big
wrote the Sports
Blink
Illustrated
and-
review for The Blind Side. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Oh fuck! Really? There was one of those.
Yes,
But-
The
What?
Blind Side popped off. It was huge for a while.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then
They
6
made
years
a good
later, there was a
out of it.
movie. It was very
Yeah.
odd timing, actually.
Sandra Bullock.
I enjoyed the movie. I never read the book, admittedly, but
It's like Moneyball, but not as good.
yeah, Moneyball's great.
Jenny
Take
is
over
very
baseball, which was awesome. So
Jenny Come Lately is correct that most of the people I've convinced, we'll say tricked into thinking that I'm intelligent, is because I can plagiarize authors at cocktail parties.
The key is to say
Like
exactly
Kamala
what they
Harris.
said.
That's what you were supposed to say, Dane.
No,
I don't think that's how
Kamala-
Kamala Harris convinced people that
she's
she was
convinced no one
intelligent
that
and
she's
got her jobs. But okay.
convinced no one that she's intelligent. She got her job through completely other means. Just so
Now
you
we're
know.
canceled.
Now we're
One thing I
canceled.
will say,
You're welcome.
considering all the plagiarism scandals that have gone on at Harvard over the past couple of years, you're not in bad company, Pips.
Right?
You know, I would appreciate that better if I felt that Harvard had done better to safeguard its reputation over the last
Which they did.
couple.
they don't care. It's political
No.
correctness uber alles.
I
So
was gonna say.
Nowadays, you gotta wonder. You see more and more of like there are companies that are now coming out saying, hey, we're expanding. We used to try and hire exclusively from these top universities, and we're expanding our search because we think that the top universities are no longer making top tier candidates. Which is wild. If you're a trustee for one
top
of
tier
these
candidates,
universities.
but so at the end of the day, for a lot of the highest paying jobs that exist right out of school, the being selected by a top tier university was the IQ test that the hirer wasn't allowed to give legally. So investment firms up and down the whole of Wall Street or whatnot, if you got into Harvard and you got a degree from them, and even if it was in German or in comparative lit or whatnot, they don't care, right? You're smart enough to get into Harvard, you can learn how to build a fucking spreadsheet. That's what they did. So they'd hire exclusively from these firms and whatnot. They would go. They're probably all realizing now that they can, either all those top candidates are now getting pilfered by Silicon Valley, Meta, Amazon, you name it, because it's the same fucking game. But the recruits they're getting out have been basically indoctrinated for 4 years and don't know jack shit anyway. They've gone retrograde. You're better off getting someone out of high school with good SATs as your investment banking analyst than you are getting someone who fucking graduated from Harvard.
Well,
Dane,
Gadfly has the
don't
most
get me
interaction
started
with-
on the social implications of Briggs versus Duke's power. You will never get me off the topic. But
Okay.
now that Gadfly is here, I need to make another dungeon crawler Carl pitch.
that's a good looking beer, Dave.
Good section. Thanks.
Specifically to Gadfly and Dane. And that I actually really want you both to read this series because Gadfly, I want your opinion on Carl as the classics traditional hero. And Dane, I want you to read this from the perspective of the story building and the Easter eggs and the things mentioned in a conversation in book 2 that come back in book 5 and are significant.
Oh fuck! You want me to read 5 books?
What's the series?
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Easter eggs are terrible.
They're not Easter eggs. They're plot building.
Well,
All right,
It's
as
like-
long
it's
as this
like
book is
breadcrumbs
not going to
along-
be another, Ready Player One.
No, this is Jenny Come Lately. We just did the second Carl stream on Prophet of the Dragons channel.
Yeah.
Stream 3 will be on Lady Balefire's channel probably next week.
what I will tell you is that come the new year, I will have a lot of free time on my hands.
Have you finally walked into your department head's office and just chopped their head off and seen if they're a lich or not?
This close. But I've
He found the phylactery.
I've submitted a draft, and
the lich is
You're mine now.
being appraised, and I should be getting the appraisal back next Wednesday, and then I do my final edits.
Very nice.
So,
Well, congratulations. Also,
and then-
for those of you who don't know, that joke is more dangerous because he actually has the arms and armory over there to walk into his department head's office and chop their head off.
Well, I mean, if you're really committed, just about anything, but
I think he's got like a great sword lying around there somewhere, though. So you got to watch out.
Well, I actually have two swords in my living room that he was nice enough to send to me for my wedding. So
Nice.
those were both incredible, by the way. And
Wait,
actually,
Gaslight
Ozzy,
sent you two swords.
yes, one for
You
me
and
and one
Lady
for
Balefire could.
one
you
for
could
me
fight.
and one for my wife, I guess. Yes. But Ozzy, also, I don't know if I've ever actually thanked you for your wedding gift.
Oh, no
which
worries.
I have to say, thank you so much. Like, this is going to sound ridiculous considering what it was, but oh my God, I love them so much. Like, so much better than the cheap, shitty ones that I bought myself in college when I was 19 and living by myself for the first time and didn't know what good stuff was. Like, much appreciated.
Well,
You're gonna-
it's what you put on the website.
Now we
Alex,
got to know
I
what
would
this
like to
is.
say.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
we're
now-
just
now
going to
you,
pick the
like,
worst.
I picked
gonna
up
really-
the quality myself.
gonna
But
leave-
basically, it's modern technology.
I'm going to leave
Ask
this
any
conversation
story,
thinking
Steve.
that this is anal beads unless you guys tell me what it is.
Yeah, it better be fucking speakers or something. Because what Pip just
Ozzy's
said
over there
also-
like, these are the ones
also
that I
makes
use
sense.
at home.
I don't use anything but these anal beads.
Inconceivable.
Ozzy, you want to share with the team what you got us?
No, you tell them, Alex.
It was silverware.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. I can actually fully appreciate that as someone
Now
who
I
only
get it.
only the last couple years upgraded my flatware, tableware stuff and got, and it's one of those you so completely overlook that as like a thing that you interact with, and then you get something that
Jenny,
has
come
some,
on.
Jenny, come on. That's not gayer than anal beads. Come on.
It's almost as gay as anal beads, but it is more
Almost.
useful.
Jenny, I've been married for 35 plus years, and let me tell you, some good silverware goes a long ways.
Is it true silver? Like you got to keep them decked off.
I don't know if it's true silver, but it's
Okay.
quality. Yeah. But it's I think it's what Lady B asked for. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you talked about the website. To this day, I have no idea what we put on the website.
I just said, Lady B, send me, give me the link, and I just went there and took care
I
of
will
business.
say, I mean, Gadfly sounds like he sent you a very thoughtful and personal gift. Other than the book that you guys may or may not have read, and the horse mask that I don't think got used. I was disappointed that no one wore the horse mask.
There is a picture with the horse mask. Blame Nerdporial for that. That was his only job for the weekend, and I'm not sure that.
But I also went with the registry option. So I'm feeling pretty intimidated by the guy who sent you swords.
There's the horse.
There's the horse. It's like I'm there.
Okay, I'm out, you guys. Good night.
Gadfly sent much bigger knives. I just sent the little knives. They're about that long. So.
All right, Gadfly, whose sword was bigger when you sent the pair?
Well, that was
Hang on, give me a second.
Is that the joke?
It was up to them to determine who's with what.
Is there a kind of a tradition thing there, or is there a reason behind the two swords, or what was your?
Yeah, sort of.
There's a
'Cause
parliamentary
it reminds me of a
tradition
tradition in my family, so I'm curious what you got.
In the old Anglo-Saxon wedding traditions, the groom was supposed to offer his family sword to the bride for her to hold on to it for their sons. And then the bride was supposed to offer the groom a new sword because a man without a sword wouldn't be able to protect the home.
Nice.
I went with a sword related tradition for my wedding. I did a military ceremony, and I had my best man was I suppose you'd say armed. So my best man had his sword on. He's standing behind me there, right, and he's actually carrying his arm throughout the ceremony, from the old tradition that one of the duties of the best man was anybody who attempted to intervene and disrupt the ceremony, the best man was supposed to go and deal with it.
Oh wait! Your wedding was one of those where someone like spoke up now or forever held their peace. If they spoke up.
The line was offered.
Stabbed him.
The line was offered, but my best man was there to deal with it. So
speak up now. I object. Your best man came over.
Kill that man.
Cut his head off. Killed that man. All right, everyone's holding their peace. Cool. Good.
So this was, I believe, this was mine, and I actually measured these because I was going to claim whichever one was bigger, but they're actually identical in length.
No, the curve makes it longer.
I think that's only if it curves left or right.
Cutting distance. But Alex, the other thing you should look toward, because I think our Anglo-Saxon houses of parliament are based on this. The two sides of the house are like two sword or scepter lengths apart so that they can't cross blades. So you should have a table where you could sit across from Lady Balefire so that if you both reached for your swords, you wouldn't be able to fight each other.
It's going to be like Putin's conference table.
That's pretty sweet, actually. But this one is Gadfly, and correct me if I'm wrong here. This is a 19th century Russian cavalry saber.
Yeah,
it looks like a cavalry saber.
The style of blade goes back farther than the 19th century. It goes into the 17th century, but carries over.
Alex, are you Russian?
I'm like that Airheads flavor that they came out with a while back. Mystery White.
Oh, Irish.
And yes,
and lots of kids. It's a good bet.
This is Gadfly 15th century Norman.
No, that's 6th through 10th century.
Oh, 6th through 10th century.
It's a sort of dark age, Viking age.
All right, be honest with us.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone and reenacted your favorite lightsaber duel?
But I don't really do that. But every once in a while, I'll be on like a work from home meeting, and I'll be bored, and I'll somebody's talking about some bullshit that doesn't involve me, and I'll just wander out and grab one of these and kind of swing it around the living room. It's funny. The cat freaks out anytime I like unsheath it.
So
that's actually
smart.
He has a classical era, late antique era sword. Alex has a proper medieval era sword, and so now they have a sword from all the different stages from the classical era up to the early modern era.
Nice.
That's amazing. That's great, Gadfly.
But one of the things I want
to
say about Pips's ceremony, the original purpose of the best man was to round up a group of men and go to the bridal party to escort it to the ceremony, because they would be traveling with the dowry and all those wedding gifts. And so the best man was there to protect the bride and the bride's dowry and all that stuff.
So what you're saying is the best man should actually be going to Vegas with the bride and all her bridesmaids and just making sure she doesn't like hoard out.
He should be there at the bachelorette party.
Well, this is coming from an era where
when he gets the popsicle that's shaped like a penis, what is he supposed to do with it?
Hey, when in Rome.
What? No.
The best man is supposed to be a man that you can go to trust to lay down his life for his homie's future.
So you can actually answer a question for me then.
I thought it was if the groom chickened out, the best man had to marry the wife or the bride.
Yeah, that's the Blackadder thing.
Okay. Then I got it wrong. I can't trust Rowan Atkinson for my history. Oh,
so man. One of the things that
Ozzy, you were around back in the day when that was going on. Is that how you went?
Well, I can tell you guys, in all honesty, I've been best man 7 times.
Wow.
Damn.
I haven't had to defend anything yet. But one of those
were you already married?
Same guy twice.
As best man?
Same guy twice. Okay.
That's obviously one of those didn't work, but
yeah. So 6 guys, 7 best mans. Yeah, I was about half of them. I was married, half of them I wasn't. So
okay. Was it a marked difference between the two? Like your responsibilities didn't change?
No, they were all the same.
Okay.
Mostly it was bachelor party. Okay, it was major. And I would say there were some epic ones.
I bet.
Now we get to the good part of the stream.
We're
gonna shift
one
over
of
to
them,
White
I was
Cliffs
still
After
a
Dark.
senior in high school. My buddy graduated from this is the first time I was best man. He was
high school?
I was still in high school. He was 1 year out. And that one ended in divorce. I'm 3 and 4, by the way.
Okay.
So,
3 they stayed, 4 they got divorced.
Yep. Yeah,
wow.
Well, one of those got divorced at least. Like one of them is a repeat, right? So is that a 2 divorce situation, or is that?
Yeah, he's second marriage is a sticker. It's been a good one.
Have you told him? Oh, okay.
But his first one was sort of a forced. Well, not forced.
Yeah, but if one of them was out of high school, like you aren't giving. Wait, is that one of the ones that lasted?
No, that's one of the ones that's divorced.
Yeah, but okay, you can't put that in the average because I mean, like that.
I don't know. A lot of our grandparents that are still married high school.
I was going to say you're probably
not
doing
that old,
better
guys.
then.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
One of them's my brother. Well, actually, 2 of them are my brothers. My older brother's still married, so he's one of the 3. But my younger brother is divorced from his first wife. So, and he didn't have me be best man the second time, which is probably a wise move because he's still married to her. So,
well, he's still married.
I was saying that sounds like a failure on his part, not yours. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You got him to the altar, like you did your job.
Yeah.
At least your brothers made you their best man. Both my brothers are married, and
they didn't go with you, Dane.
No, of course not.
But when I got married, neither of my brothers were my best man. It was funny. The irony for me is my best man. I was not his best man, so which cracks me up. And I still tease him to this day about it, although I promised him I wouldn't bring it up anymore. But we're still really good friends.
Just on a stream to strangers, I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
you get somebody else to bring it up.
Yeah, we're still really best friends. But he had another buddy from high school was his best man. So,
yeah.
But he's a great.
I can empathize. I've never been best man, but I also am not experienced at escorting dowries from brigands.
No, I never had to draw sword and escort the dowry. So,
although
it sounds like those bachelor parties were not quite as good as you maybe told us they were.
I kind of figured by the time you were doing it, it was probably muskets though. So
yeah, no, it was muskets. I tell you what, though, we had
nice.
Portland is a great town to have a bachelor party in. I could tell you that. So,
Portland? Not the only thing Portland's good for these days, maybe.
Yeah, well, you were just there, right, Pip? So
I was, but I didn't spend much time there. My dad lives I don't know, 45 minutes out towards the coast, sort of out west, and then
Astoria or Seaside or
We're holding swords. Give me a minute.
Well, no, the cat was getting ready to jump up on me, so you just kind of do one of these and it
you had
goes
to
away.
just threaten him. Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
And then my brother lives on our farm. It's about 30 to 45 minutes south of Portland. So between that and visiting more family down in the southern part of the state, I went to Portland to and from the airport, and that was about it.
so is he in
okay,
Astoria or where? Well, maybe you don't want to say, but
honestly, I
riveting
just
tale
don't.
either
I just
way.
don't actually remember the exact name of the town. It's a little, it's where University of Pacific is, which is like probably 3,000 person campus. I think it's like the oldest college in the state, but it's just a small college out past Hillsboro, I think.
Gearhart, Oregon has the oldest 18-hole golf course west of the Mississippi. So it's right on the coast, just south of Astoria. So a little trivia.
So it's not on the
golf
coast.
Trivia for you.
This isn't on the coast. It's about halfway between the coast and Portland. But
Okay.
all right, Gadfly. The question I was going to ask you about Best Man. So related to what you had brought up, my understanding was that the Best Man was not always even like a friend or something like that. Like sometimes it was just like the best person that you could essentially hire for the job. So like was a somewhat, at least in some points or some instances, was almost a mercenary position to go and fill the responsibilities of what you were talking about. So like, who was the best swordsman that you could pay to go and do those duties that you had mentioned? Have you heard anything about that, or?
There were definitely time periods in certain areas, like Renaissance Italy, for example, where
now we're speaking my language.
there's so much antagonism between not just the city states but the various houses within the city states. There's a reason why Romeo and Juliet is in.
I was going to say, in Fair Verona, two houses of equal, not equal standing. Dane, help me out here.
In Fair Verona, where we are seeing two houses both alike in dignity.
In dignity.
In Fair Verona, where we are seeing from ancient blood sprig to new mutiny, and civil blood makes civil hands unclean.
Well said.
The ceremonial role of best man is a Germanic tradition, and so it's in that tradition, it's like it's your brother or your blood brother type thing, or the guy who's been with you through everything, that you send. In large part because in those Germanic societies, they were very honor-based societies and familial structure-based societies. Like for example, in the law codes, the Germanic law codes, the standing of the person, the respect with which the community held them, was one of the determining factors that people would base their judgments on. And so if you were accused of something and your witness was a known coward or known philanderer or known anything, then that would be negative on your side.
Ouch, Gadfly. God damn it.
Here, I'll but
So you're saying that having, just hypothetical, having your only witness be the now deceased Jeffrey Epstein is maybe not indicative of the story you're telling 10 days before an election being true?
Well,
Is that
it would be Jeffrey Epstein and all of his ilk.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why, because our law codes are based more on the Germanic law codes than the Roman law codes, in the Anglosphere, and there's a reason why character witnesses are such a big important part of it, and that's also where the jury of one's peers comes into play more so. Yes, it was very true in Athens, but not true at all in Roman society to be judged by your peers. And almost all the rest of European law codes are mostly based off of the Roman law codes. Whereas the English law codes, England was very different to the rest of Europe.
By?
Sorry?
I was going to say beset by.
No, just Rome had a big presence in Britain, but they never had the same sort of long-lasting impression on the area after Rome started collapsing, because that was one of the first areas that they left, and then they were it was much more isolated from the rest of Europe.
Well, also, correct me if I'm wrong here. When Rome left Britain, they literally packed up the store and left. Like, very few Roman citizens or anybody who had any means within Roman society stayed.
They would have stayed, but without the legions, there wasn't the support.
Yeah, and the legions left, the bureaucracy of Rome left, but the elites of Rome, the Romano-British people, still stayed there.
Held on.
But they were so dependent on the Germanic mercenaries that they hired and paid with land. If I'm going to throw my academic thing out there, because everybody says they're paid with gold, but I'm like, they didn't have gold, so they had to pay with land. But so they hired Germanic mercenaries to come in, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, to help defend them from other Germanic raiding parties.
Because it was a constant sequence of invasions as well, right?
Yeah. So over time, the Romano-British people, it was safer to live with the Germanic people, and so they integrated more into the Germanic parts of Britain. And then the Germanic parts of Britain expanded, and so instead of the barbarians adopting to the Roman ways, it was the Romans adopting to the barbarian ways in England, as opposed to everywhere else in Europe.
One of the most fascinating things I've ever encountered when learning about history is that the Germanic people had a strong mercenary culture basically until the late 1800s. The Americans were fighting mostly Hessian mercenaries in the Revolutionary War. And that's extends back to the 1100s.
Those particular mercenaries,
yeah, basically. The Hessian mercenaries was an 800-year tradition at that point.
But the great hero of Germany, Armanos, Herman the German, Armenos, was a Teutonic.
He's from Arrested Development, isn't he? Season 1.
I was going to say that means brothers in Spanish, but
he was a Teutonic
Garçon
who
Mon frere
into the Roman military, rose in rank to become a massive general, and then left the Roman army, went back to Germany, and fought against Rome. So it's like going back all the way until the
Wait, is that from Tacitus?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I have that.
Tacitus, technically.
No.
The C is hard.
Here in the Anglosphere, we make it a point of pride to not pronounce other people's fake languages.
Bad file like this one.
Nice.
I forget who was making this point, but they were just side tangent on particularly Americans pronouncing other languages.
Oh, it was me.
It was a British comedian basically applauding the fact that Americans don't sort of kowtow to specifically the French and trying to pronounce French words. And they're like, yeah, if you go into the UK or other places in the Anglosphere and you ask them about a croissant, they'll be like, it's a croissant. They'll really try and put some some spin on it and really try and get the proper French pronunciation. And it's like Americans would just say, fuck that, it's a crescent roll. and he's like, you got to applaud them just saying just an absolute double middle finger to the French and be like, come and fight me. Oh, wait, you're French.
Well,
it's just...
Here's another comedian that I saw that pointed this out about language and efficiency. What would you call a show of boats in a harbor in English?
A flotilla.
Okay, that would be fewer syllables, maybe more words. You call it a boat show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what do you call it in French?
Something dumb.
Exposition de la bateau. There you go.
Okay. The deletion of the della, we don't say
an exposition of the great boats or whatever.
Yeah. We say boat show, we don't say show of the boats.
Show of the boat. An exposition of the boats.
Then we should all applaud the Germans, right? Because they just take
No.
what do you call a collection of boats in the harbor? And they just say, yeah, you say collection of boats in the harbor. You just shove all the words together. You say it faster.
Germans have got it wrong too. Because what do you call a lollipop in English? Sorry, it's lollipop. What do you call it in German?
I don't know. You tell us.
Bombe mit Hausheimer Handgeber.
What?
That was a good German sort of accent, to be honest.
Super Luxe Bombe mit Hausheimer Handgeber.
Like the intonation.
Sugar, solid sugar on a stick or something? What are you saying?
I was going to say, uncompound those words for us.
Hausheimer Handgeber.
Hard candy on a stick.
A super luxury or super sugary candy on a lovely wooden handle that you can grip with your hand.
Nice. See? No problems there. That's perfect.
I know exactly what you're referring to.
You have to acknowledge that the German language is like what it surrenders in all poetic form, it makes up with precision.
But
brutality, brute force.
Yeah,
Ambulance,
exactly.
Krankenwagen.
What's particularly funny about that, though, is the old Germanic languages, with their literalism, are incredibly poetic.
No.
When you go through old German, old English, old Norse texts, the ways they come up to describe something are purely functional, as in they tell you exactly what they are, but they are also very fascinating. The famous one is the Whale Road, right? The sea is the Whale Road, but there's other ones that the steel skin for male.
Yeah. So that reminds me of like Wheel of Time, like the Wolf Dream, like the wolves don't name themselves, like Carl, they name themselves, the dew, the light reflecting off the dew of the grass on a sunrise morning in spring kind of thing.
Except for that one that's like the first one that we meet and is like the most important one. His name is just fucking Hopper.
No,
all the other ones,
Tips.
all the other
That's
ones are
just-
like, yeah, morning dew on a dark sky and something. He's like, no, he's got hops. He's
1.4s through
This
the
one
sky-
likes to
through the sky,
he
right?
likes to jump.
Something
Oh,
like
yes,
Hopper.
yes.
It's
Just how the show,
like
just
one-
exactly how the show did it, right? Tips
Yeah.
where he basically jumped up for treats.
Yeah,
Ah.
you wait. Yeah, he
Hopper.
sort of he yipped a couple times and then yeah.
Dude, how fucking
15.
awkward is it if the show decides that it's gonna have Hopper talk? Like,
Dude, I am fucking about it. I
would
I'm
love it if
trying
they
to
did
think of
the Mr. Ed thing and smeared, peanut butter on the inside of his mouth.
to get into open and to close it.
What?
Okay.
Stop giving
What-
them ideas.
Who's the voice actor that you want for Hopper? I mean, James
Jeremy-
Earl Jones,
Jeremy
rest in
fucking
peace,
Irons.
right? But
Jeremy
who else?
Irons will do it.
Jeremy Irons.
No,
Just like Scar
who
from
would be
fucking
the
Lion
most
King.
annoying one to do it? And then that's where we'd probably
The
get
most
Well, that'd
annoying
be
one would be that
Gilbert
guy from
Godfrey.
Yeah,
Princess
Iago.
Bride, I can't remember his name, but
He's dead too.
What if
Yeah.
what if they
he's
got
dead.
what if they got Corden to do the voice of Hopper?
Corden. Who-
No.
James Corden.
Yeah,
Oh, James Corden.
I was
Yeah.
thinking Matthew Broderick for some reason, but
Hilarious.
just
I-
trying to think of like the most irritating person in existence.
Fran
to do the
Drescher.
voice.
It would
Fran
I
Drescher
was-
would be
I was-
great.
I was gonna say the most irritating person. I think she was busy running a political campaign during most of the time they were filming. So
Yeah,
we may
exactly.
not be able to have
somehow-
that happen.
She was in charge of the whole fucking Actors Guild.
Hey, maybe that's why she wasn't doing many interviews.
She was
He's foisting a Hopper.
they gender swapped Hopper in order to have that happen. Okay, that I would honestly, again, reasons that I would watch the show unironically.
I mean, Hopper is missing his balls, right? So
This is a fact. Poor Hopper.
Oh man, I'm trying to think who is the worst
The
realistic
annoying guy would be the guy from Princess Bride, the voice he's
Yeah,
on all the Pixar movies, and I don't know the actor's name, but
The guy
Yeah.
who played Viceni?
that's inconceivable. No,
Yeah, that guy.
Vicini.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he's
Vicini.
dead.
I don't think he's dead. No,
He might be dead.
he
He
might
might be
dead.
mostly dead.
He's just mostly dead. Dave.
Mostly dead. Let me look this up.
I don't think
I
he's
think
dead.
he's mostly
All right,
dead.
Yeah.
Vicini
He
from
was
Princess
most recently
Bride
on
is
Young
Wallace
Sheldon. He
Shawn.
played a guy on Young Sheldon. So
So it's
did I
Wallace
hear-
Shawn, and he is still alive,
there you
Not
go.
as far as I can tell.
Nice.
He's Hopper.
Now is he gay?
I mean,
don't-
probably.
I don't know.
I was reading something the other day, and it was of the main 7 characters in the show. Lan and Perrin are the only non-identifying LGBTQ actors.
Lan and Perrin.
What?
That of the main 7 cast,
They check other boxes. They all got to check a box.
You mean
right?
they disclosed what they are? Because Rosamund Pike is like married to a dude, right?
yes, but
Yeah, but she probably
she's
calls herself bi.
yeah, she's
almost
one of the
guaranteed.
she's fashionably bi.
Yeah, that's
With
yeah.
with who?
No one.
Ooh,
She's
it
just
is
she's just admitted. She's just admitted that she's in a committed monogamous relationship, but she
With a man,
she,
but
like,
she
you know,
enjoys lesbian
Yeah.
porn?
yeah, I guess.
Dane, I didn't fill out the sheet for her, man.
No. I don't mean to give you the third degree, but
Oh,
okay.
Wow, that's an interesting factoid, Alex.
I mean that's so. So you're saying you said Perrin and Lan,
Yes.
Wallace
which
Shawn
is
has
funny
a partner named
because-
Deborah.
which is funny because I like that they
It's
say a partner named Deborah instead of like I don't know a wife. That's odd. But
Well-
I would not have thought honestly that either of those 2 actors. Like if you gave me the list of actors in the show that like I thought were gonna be gay. Lan would be high on the list based on his portrayal, but I guess I don't know enough about his personal life, man.
Who, Lan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gay.
You don't think that like just watching that actor on scene, you're like, yeah, he's probably
He's probably gay.
Just wait, because we're going to get his, what do they call that? Karate. The woman who's
Karate chop?
the woman who's supposed to take the young young.
Ooh, that will definitely
Carnea?
be part of season 3.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
They're
that
gonna
will
have that
definitely be
next
part of
season.
season 3.
And I would not be
Wait, what?
surprised if they made it a man.
Oh gosh. It's just gonna be Rafe Judkins. It's just gonna be him. He's gonna be Alfred Hitchcocking in season 3. Just him. Just you will not like this. It will not be over soon.
I was going to
Not
say
your
that
king.
the Quentin Tarantino Selma Hayek.
Yeah, gosh.
Wait, really? Like, here's the thing. I made a bingo card for season 2 somewhat after the fact, but like reading through said bingo card, it's like
Still valid.
had you no, it's very valid, but it's like had you come out with it a week before season 2 even aired, it would have been the most ridiculous thing you've ever read. Let me see if I can find it.
I
Sorry,
was going to
guys.
say, I want to say Steve's bingo card was like 13 of the 20 squares was filled in. Like,
And
Admittedly, there was a lot of free spaces
We're very close.
on. There's a lot of free spaces on some of those.
I think the big one, like he made like 9 season 2 predictions, and the only one he missed was Werewolf Perrin.
Well, there were also the 3 bingo cards that were done right as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and even the one that was supposed to be an absolute joke of a thing had correct.
Yes.
4 or 5 things. Yes. Like,
I mean the dagger Ashendari was on the bingo card, right?
Yeah.
Did it have duct tape listed though? That would have been a good prediction.
to this day, I have never liked Brandon Sanderson more than as he cringed and looked through his fingers at the screen and begged the audience not to judge him.
Man. His claims of like, I tried to tell him not to put that in are kind of hilarious.
Or just the I tried guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was just sort of curled up in the corner. I really tried. You're like,
To this day, one of the funniest things I've ever seen was the look on that dude's face as he realized Sanderson was getting ready to shit on his show.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Here's my bingo. Like, granted, this was written after the fact, but just put yourself back to like a week before the show and just read through these. Some of them, maybe you're like, yeah, well, that's because you saw a trailer, but just read through them.
The Rand taught sword forms by a mental patient was one I had just completely out of like 25 different ballparks away playing a completely different game.
You called it?
No, I just like
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't call it, but it was just like, why is there an insane asylum there in the first place? Why is Rand working there? Why is there a sword master there? Sword masters, guys who are supposed to be incredibly mentally cognizant and strong and astute.
So let's start with the bees and go down. Like, Rand is a male nurse. Like, you might have caught that from a trailer.
No,
Maybe.
you couldn't have. No,
Okay.
the only reason we knew that was that there was that awkward release that happened where they accidentally leaked the first 2 episodes.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, what
I
about
agree.
Leandrin having the
think
most
this-
dialogue?
Never would have gotten that.
Never would have. Yeah.
You could have guessed. You could have guessed like insert, random unimportant female character. You could have got, but yeah, the Leandrin one after season 1, where like,
Well, you
No.
would have thought like Suan.
Yes, I think you probably would have agreed or suspected Swan. That's a good one.
Swan or
But not
Moran,
Leandrin.
right?
Yeah,
Or Moran.
Leandrin's totally left field. Season 1, she was like, I mean, she was barely relevant.
all right.
She opened Pip. She opened the whole show with her "You Make It Filthy" thing. So
Yeah, she was obviously the main character.
obviously,
What about Lan relieving himself against a tree for 20 seconds?
See, to me, this is the
Again,
most
Judkins
outrageous
is a
thing in the
pervert.
whole show.
I would have believed that.
I would have believed it. but
I'm
it's
trying to think
outrageous.
which are the ones that I would have said if you had just given me a bunch of flashcards and said like this is
Here
a
we
thing,
go.
yes or no. Rand is a male nurse. Before the leak, I probably would have said no.
Yep.
Min makes a deal with the Forsaken. I would have said
Oh,
yes.
you're going across.
Barthanas explains how to make the best sandwiches. If it's too specific, I would have said yes. Like, there's no other reason you would have thought about it other than
That is still. Can we just mention for just a brief second how absurd it is that was allocated screen time?
Yep.
That's the same thing with Land pissing on a tree. What show would ever waste 20 seconds on something like that?
Something that needed filler.
A weird
Every
weird
time
porno.
what a scene is supposed to do. A scene is supposed to build character, build relationships, develop plot. Neither of those do any of those at
At
all.
all.
I don't think neither is strong enough a word because that just implies two. That's three
Well,
things.
you're
It doesn't do,
talking about
it doesn't do plot, character, or setting.
yeah. See that second row. I feel like
Come
I
on,
probably would-
Moraine
I
murders a horse for no reason?
oh
You
definitely
saw
would have
that
said
coming.
yes.
Lan
Oh,
doesn't
come
know
on.
what Lanfear means in
Rude.
the old tongue?
See, I'm up in the air on that one, but that second row where Leandrin has the most dialogue, I would have said no. Moraine does. Actually, Moraine does have the most dialogue
Yeah, after the last episode.
after the last episode. So yeah, I would have said no, so I would have gotten that one right. Alana's
Yeah.
double penetrated on screen. I actually would have said yes.
That one, yeah, anyone could have seen that coming. That's 100%.
Inktar's redemption arc is forgotten about. Absolutely. Like
Yeah,
it honestly, it never.
The only thing surprising about that is that Ingtar, like, it even looked like they were going to do his arc for a while.
Ingtar was in the show at all.
For an episode. Yeah, Moraine breaks the 3 O's again. I mean, that was a fucking mortal lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's a gimme.
that entire second row was like
Well, don't hold out on the last one.
Rand is still defaced on his feet, on his knees for the rest of season 2. Yeah, no, totally 100%. That was, if you told me that was going to happen, I would have said, yep, 100%. Never in doubt.
I would never have guessed that the Horn of Elir was going to be a Tide like detergent jug. That one, they surprised me with their level of incompetence on
That's
that
modern
one.
art. Pips, you just don't understand modern art.
I mean,
That
that
was
might
part
be.
of, that was part
yeah,
of the
I'm-
reshoot. They needed to go back and fix it. So
That's some Salvador Dali
They
level
had to get
stuff.
some random Amazon product quickly for the prop.
Yeah.
I still don't even like. I've read an article where the prop director like described the process of how they developed the look and how they made that prop, and I still don't understand. Like, none of it makes sense. I don't understand what they were trying to make. I don't understand why they were trying to make it. Like, I don't understand how anybody approved it. Like, it just, there's literally no part of it that makes any sense to me, because it's not even like there's a narrative thing they're trying to do. A lot of these you can explain, like, they have a terrible concept of the story they're trying to tell, and this
Wait.
you know.
No. Pips, Moraine's plan involves them never sleeping again. Explain
was
that.
pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, they are dumb enough that they didn't figure out that was a problem. But like the Moraine coming up with like a off the wall plan to outsmart the Forsaken totally makes sense. They're stupid, like they are stupid, and so she's stupid. But like that makes sense. But how do I don't understand the Tide bottle like that. Sorry, we can move on. But I'm still flabbergasted by that.
I'm looking at this list here, and I'm trying to figure out which are the ones that I would have said. Undoubtedly, yes. The two that immediately
Egwene
jump
frees
up to
herself,
me- yes.
obviously, right?
I was gonna say Egwene frees herself and no Ingtar redemption arc were the ones where I would have said
The ones that are
yes.
antithetical to the story are the ones that were a dead cert. So Rand told
yeah.
Faith on her feet, and he's on his knees for the rest. That is 100% antithetical to RJ's story. Ingtar's redemption is forgotten. Antithetical. Egwene freeing herself. Antithetical.
Rand taught sword forms by a mental patient. Antithetical.
Yeah, the fact that a sword master would be a mental patient is pretty antithetical.
I like that Alana's family makes
Min
airtight
deal
jokes about her.
Forsaken, making a deal with Forsaken, entirely antithetical to the story.
Yeah.
Matt's sword.
Yeah,
That was
Matt
good.
making a sword, Matt not suffering for his stuff. That is antithetical to Matt's character progression.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. He had to drink that tea.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did have several bad
But-
flashbacks.
Like he was Beth Cawthon. Like doing drugs is just second nature to him in the show. So
Yep.
It is wild looking at this list. Alana's family making airtight jokes about her is one that, like, I truly am baffled by.
It happened.
I know
Where
it
does
did.
Where does the third one go? Yeah, in her mouth. What do you think?
The
They all
Alana, the Alana grooming Egwene bit, related to that is also inexplicable. From like, it's like, wait, you guys didn't see the problem of a teacher having this conversation? You guys no issues.
It was just ripped straight out of their own history.
Ugh.
I still like that Min was blown off course while on a river.
See,
That
Do you remember that? It's like, how'd you end up in Tarvalon? Well, I was on a riverboat, but then a storm hit me, and I ended up here. Oh, really? You mean on the river that you were on the riverboat on?
see, that's one of those that, like, who does it reflect worse on? Does it reflect worse on the writers for thinking that's a legitimate reason, on the character Min for thinking that's a believable lie, or the character Matt for believing that lie? Like,
All of them.
I mean, Matt dug through the wrong wall, so like he's not smart.
He's officially a retard.
not smart, but he also comes from a place called the Two Rivers. He should know how a river works.
You think?
He came from a place that's only called the Two Rivers. There's no other name for it. There's no villages. There's no
Emmons Field. That's just where we're all from. Two Rivers.
well, in fairness, apparently the Two Rivers is huge because, like, they have their own style of smithing and weaving. So
Yep.
And speech.
and
And
speech.
dress. Yeah.
And
How so identifiable outside of it. Like
And
What
Elaine was able to spot, Two Rivers, One Cup right away. I mean, she was
And
on
Dame
that.
Bornhold was too. Dame Bornhold immediately recognized Pern's ring as like the expert craftsmanship of his wife.
Which was wild, given how intentionally shitty they made this.
Yeah.
You guys are reminding me what bad TV is all about. Ugh.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
All right.
a good B horror or something like that. But what is it when it gets this bad? Is it like a D? I don't know how to describe this level of
No, it's
terrible.
You know, like the B horror that is good is like McDonald's. Everybody knows it's garbage, but it's still, like
I've been eating nothing but McDonald's for like 5 days now.
Don't disparage McDonald's, Gadfly, by comparing Wheel of Prime to.
I'm not.
I even bought the movie The Founder. That was fucking great.
Dane's over here like the Trump man was giving out fries, and I've been eating nothing but McDonald's since.
No, it was when they went after McDonald's for the E. coli thing, being like, oh, well, could there be anything more transparent? It's just like, oh, we didn't like you hosting Trump, so CDC is going to blame me for all this E. coli shit. I'm like, no E. coli in Canada. I'm going to fucking eat McDonald's. I can't contribute to U.S. elections. Don't give a shit.
I do love a Canadian.
First of all, you absolutely can. I mean, fucking Israel and China are apparently the largest donors to our election process at this point.
That should technically be illegal. So I'm not going to do it.
There's a Swiss guy who's given like $150 million to Democratic campaign PACs this election cycle.
There's apparently a bunch of UK Labour Party.
No, George Soros is an American citizen.
Into the States.
He's an American dual citizen.
All those folks.
Sure. But I'm just saying this guy is only a Swiss citizen. He's intentionally on the record of saying he doesn't want to be an American citizen, but he is paying $150 million into the election.
And he should be in prison.
That's just not right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I got upset when the Justin Trudeau blackface thing came out. Right? You guys know that our prime minister basically liked to dress up as fucking
First of all, call him by his real name. It's Justin Castro.
More time than he can remember.
Yeah.
That is such a great line.
And what was everyone in Canada waiting for? Barack Obama tweeted out like a week before the election that Justin Trudeau had a good heart. And it's just like, that's all the signal that all the fucking libtards in Canada needed to feel okay about voting for this asshat again.
It's like the South Park joke. It's like, Al Sharpton is not the president of black people. he told my dad he is.
Obama is the president of Canada, essentially. If Obama says something, and like if Trudeau decides to dress up in blackface, it's okay. Anybody else who wasn't politically aligned with Obama would have get pilloried by him and his ilk. But Trudeau, it was fine. But that's what saved Trudeau the last go around with the election.
Like some 9-year-old kid Chiefs fan that got pilloried.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is direct foreign election interference, and if Canada had stronger laws on this, I would say we would ask to extradite Obama and put him in Canadian jail. He'd be in Canadian Alcatraz, just like Family Guy.
What is Canadian Alcatraz?
Oh, you haven't seen that clip?
Alcatraz?
No.
Oh, you should check it out.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna go now. Okay. Be back for supper. Maybe I won't. All right.
Speaking of politics in Canada, I have enjoyed. I keep on getting these clips of what is the opposition leader's name? Starts with a P. Yeah.
Pierre Poilievre.
Peter Parker.
So him, Spider-Man, Canadian Spider-Man. Him going after Trudeau in Parliament. I guess I just keep on seeing these random clips, and
he's great.
You know, you gotta appreciate the guy. He seems like he's got a good sense of humor. He's pretty sharp.
We got a bit of a gem in him. That's why he's leading in the polls, like 60-40.
The question is, if and when he wins, is he going to actually do anything to change anything for you guys? You think, or is it just
probably not?
Yeah, that's about us too.
It's just no. It's on the macro things. He's not
different boat, same river. You know.
No, he's not going to be a climatard for one. He's probably going to cut down the immigration levels, which is basically fucking us. He's going to cut expenditure and all the rest, and probably like Trudeau's bad. Like he is bad on a fuck ton of things. And in all honesty, he's a fucking criminal and probably should be in prison for the rest of his life. The amount of grift he's been doing and dealing back to his family and other stuff with the We Foundation and the the special vacations he was taking and all the other stuff, Trudeau belongs in prison for the rest of his natural life,
So
as far as I'm concerned.
The SNC Lavalin affair that
That too.
he tried to order the Attorney General to not investigate the corruption.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
When you say he tried to order so did the Attorney General actually investigate it?
He appointed the Attorney General. She resigned over it. There was one other Liberal cabinet member with some integrity who resigned over it as well, and then he won another minority parliament.
But
So no investigation was done. He successfully prevented the investigation.
Well, what it was is a deferred prosecution. Like the company pleads guilty, and then they pay a fine, but then they don't have the 10-year unable to bid on government contracts thing that comes with it. So it was a new law instigated by his own government that was just set up just so that SNC Lavalin could plead to it in order to avoid all of this. And his Attorney General wasn't going to give it to them. And then he deliberately pressured the Attorney General improperly in order to basically apply this new law that he had just passed to this case that wasn't in his purview and all this other shit. It's fucking bad.
That's crazy.
The guy is beyond corrupt.
He's so
always has been.
corrupt.
Always has been, always will be. He should be in prison for the rest of his natural life.
He should probably be in prison for stuff before he was in politics.
That too.
If you read the.
Oh, you mean? Yeah. How he got fired from a high school as a drama teacher in the middle of the semester, which is a running joke, but it basically meant that he fucked a fucking underage student and got her pregnant, and then probably NDA'd her and got a fucking abortion for it.
Well, this all helps me feel a little bit better about politics in the U.S.
Right, man.
We're not that drunk. We're not that drunk.
Right. Anyway, boys, I got to get out of here. This has been a great conversation. I'm definitely going to catch the end of this. I love the Canadians.
I think this is the end of this.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I was getting the hook a while ago, but I ignored it. So.
All right. Well, maybe this is a good time to call it, since we're not really doing anything, other than just hanging out anyway.
I'm enjoying hearing about Trudeau because it sounds like the shoe's on the other foot, because that's what people say about Trump. He should be in jail. So.
Yeah. But if people
Joe
got
Biden-
to go,
Joe Biden should be in jail. Hillary Clinton should be in jail.
I think
Barack Obama should probably be in jail. Every single person who signed the letter
should be in jail, right?
Yeah. But all those 51 people who signed that letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinfo.
Yeah, I should be a president, Dane. Clearly,
they should be in jail.
It's like a gimme for me,
Jim Comey should be in jail. Robert Mueller should be in jail. Mary McCord should be in jail. Kevin Kleinsmith should be in fucking jail, but he's not. Jessica Liu, who signed that whole fucking plea agreement with that Wolf guy, whatever, should be in jail. What's his nuts? Warner should be in jail.
We need to build some more jails.
Adam Schiff should be in jail. No, and you know what? Maybe you can deport 10 million people, but fucking deport these people with them. Get them
We're
back
going to send them to Canada, Dane.
Fuck no. Oh my God. You already got... No.
It's the nearest point of egress, since we've shipped them all in New York and Massachusetts and Colorado. Canada.
Well, you know what we can do? We'll build Tesla coils along the border, both sides, and anyone trying to cross the wrong way, they'll just get fried. Be like a fucking Command and Conquer Red Alert.
It's a good thing I was in Toronto yesterday, so I guess it's a good thing I got out of there. So.
Yeah, about to
got Tesla coil.
It's a good thing to get out of Toronto in general. Yeah. It's not a good thing to be in Toronto.
Yeah, I was there for a one-day meeting.
Well, I'm glad no one's watching us, because maybe we can trim this live stream.
Well, we got 6 viewers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're all us.
They're all probably You know what? It's all good. This was honestly, I think, kind kind of a short notice, like just this week, came up with the idea to just hang
Worst
out
live stream
and
ever.
No, it's good
and
seeing you
just-
guys. And Alex, I
Just
haven't
do
seen you
a-
for a while, so it was really good. I know
Yeah.
I've been buried with work lately, so
Same man.
You said that's going to be getting
Yeah.
better here soon, right?
yeah, it should be, in theory, knock on wood. So yeah, I'm actually, Pips, I was meaning to, I'm going to Pakistan a week from Monday. Against my
Oh,
better
hey,
judgment.
I'll be in the neighborhood also a week from Monday.
Yeah,
What?
I have to fly
White
through
Cloaks meetup.
Iranian airspace from Dubai to Karachi. So please don't.
Have your flights been canceled yet?
No, if Israel bombs it, I might. Not
Israel
Yeah,
is
that
literally
just
like
fucking
right now.
happened.
They've been doing strikes for the last couple hours.
Oh shit!
It's
I
going.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, as of
So-
right now, as far as I know, I'm still going. But
I mean, I could see the airlines
what the-
thinking that like a week from now, like maybe the
No,
airspace
no,
will be
no,
open
wait.
again. But
Ozzy, but what the fuck is in Karachi? Is it like, yeah, I got a business
I
meeting
have,
here?
so it's
it's
complicated.
got
But I
those and
have,
area codes,
okay.
man. Don't ask questions.
I have in my group, I have about 100 employees there, and I'm the only person at my position that hasn't been yet. All of my peers have gone. We have about 2,500 employees in Pakistan.
Okay.
We're the number one employer. We're like the Microsoft of Pakistan. It's our offshore place. It's cheaper than India. A lot of smart people there. So I have to go and
On my university campus.
like I'm the honorary captain at the cricket match and stuff. So, anyways,
Yeah, but Ozzy, dude, if I was you, I'd be flying west. I'd take a plane out to like Seoul and see if that can get you to New Delhi.
yeah,
And then
well, that
Karachi
might
or
be the way
whatnot.
to go because I do know because I go from Seattle, Dubai, Karachi, and to go from
Seattle,
to
Dubai?
Karachi, I have to fly through Iran. So,
Yeah, I'd go the other way rather than Dubai.
yeah, well,
I'd fucking even look at Beijing or something like that. But that's just me.
You have to go through Iran's airspace. I did the
You do, yeah.
I did Doha to Seattle, and I thought we went up Iraq and
no, it's
Turkey.
No, it's more
it's the
once you
Dubai
land.
to Karachi flight, Pips, that goes
Right.
through southern Iran. It's a long
Oh,
ways from
Dubai. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
yeah, it's a long ways from the bad zone, if you will, up north. But yeah, you're still flying over Iran. So,
All right, boys.
Well,
I gotta
they-
bounce out of here.
Anyways,
See ya.
all right,
See you,
Alex.
Alex.
See you, bro.
honestly, they might reroute the flight. Like, just double check, but they might reroute the flight over the ocean rather than like go.
No, they
through
might.
Iranian
Yeah, and that would be
airspace,
fine
but-
with me. I don't care. I get there at 3 a.m, and I have to be at the office at noon. So I'm fine with if it takes them an extra 3 hours, I'm good with that. So
And Ozzy probably flies business class, so
yeah.
my company sends me out economy for those long ass flights.
you sleep in the Bombay area, Pips. I think. So.
No, I fly commercial, but it's definitely it's
fuck.
cattle
Pips, dude.
car right with the luggage.
If your company is going to send you across the world, like anything over a 5-hour flight,
So
most businesses spring for business class.
well, yes and no.
And
So here,
yet-
so I'm going with
Wait.
some of the guys that report to me, and I have been authorized to fly in business class, but I'm not because the other guys can't fly in business class. So I'm flying
Yeah.
regular with them.
that's how we know
Jesus.
that Ozzy is too good to hang out with the rest of us. You know?
Yeah, I know.
No,
My-
I mean
my
it's
last
only
one-
one day of your life. It's not that bad as long as I have an aisle because I'm kind of a big guy. As long as I have
That's
an aisle,
that's what I do. I have to actually pay the extra fee to be able
do
to pick
pay
my
extra.
seats.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I have an aisle seat for the exact same reason that I'm like, no damn way I'm sitting in the middle for a 16-hour flight.
middle or even the window, even though you get a lean over. I gotta have an aisle.
Guys, like my old job, because there was no business class flight left, I had to take the fucking midnight flight from Santiago, Chile to George W. Intercontinental next to the
fun.
fucking Yeah, that was a 12-hour flight, but it was in the back row, right beside the washroom. Middle aisle. Couldn't lean the chair back or anything like that overnight. Everybody's basically lining up to take a piss behind me. And I had the one video screen that didn't work, so I couldn't even watch anything the whole way.
So you had to raw dog the 12-hour flight right next to the
Scarred for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone has to fly 12 hours on something, and if you're getting paid for like you're flying business class, I don't care what your rank is, like that seems appropriate for me. Anyways.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I used to go to Indonesia a lot. I used to go to Europe 5 times a year, etc. It is what it is. You just so
I will say I'm still I'm not going to pay the extra to upgrade my own seat to business class.
Oh,
My
no.
company does not pay for it. So
I actually thought about it, but it's $4,000 each way, so total
yeah,
$8,000.
it's just wild. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, that $8,000, I'd rather spend that on beer.
Yep.
$8,000's a lot of scratch. So
I'm in the same boat.
I'm not paying for it personally. All I'm saying is my company's not paying for it. I'm gonna look somewhere else.
Yeah. Well,
all I can say is it must be nice to have somebody else pay for your flights for you, regardless.
Oh, shut. Yeah.
Are.
Okay. True enough, Gad. This was my big issue a couple Christmases ago, where I was explaining to my brothers, being like, "Yeah, first class isn't all it's caught up to be, because like I'm only 6 feet tall. You guys are taller than I am. I can't even lie flat in business class." And they just looked at me being like, "So you can lie down in business class?"
well, on international flights you can, yeah.
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 I will say though, it is different getting, like, I can appreciate that it's different flying someplace for work, and that obviously they should pay for your tickets and all that other stuff, right? It'd be insane if they didn't.
Yeah.
The business class, I haven't worked for a company that pays business class, so I don't. I mean, I've occasionally gotten upgrades and stuff like that, so I do kind of know what I'm missing. But like, I'm still young enough that I can deal with the back pain.
Yeah, you used to be able to use miles to upgrade to business class, but the airlines don't let you do that anymore. So back in the day, like when I was going to Indo, I would fly through Tokyo to Singapore to Jakarta, and I would use miles, and I would be able to upgrade.
You'd be earning a shit ton of miles with a decent.
Yeah, well, no, I have gold for life. I've got 1.6 million frequent flyer miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you should
I don't
not
think
be
I'll
riding
get 2 million
on anything.
Yeah.
Ozzy is only flying coach to make those other guys feel good. Again, that's
they're not feeling good.
His company was gonna buy him a business class seat, and he turned it down.
Yes, true.
It's not to make them feel good. It's to make them not feel resentful.
Exactly. That's a good point, Gadfly. That's part of the leadership thing, right? And they don't know that I could have had business class. I'm not telling them, but yeah.
See, like I said, he's too good to hang out with.
Unless they're watching this stream. But thankfully, none of them give a shit about Wheel of Time.
Yeah, they're not watching this. Trust me, I'm the alpha nerd. Some of them are nerds. Some of them are nerds. Some of them are not. But I wouldn't tell them about this. I don't need them seeing me gallivanting online. So. But I'm too old. I don't care if I get doxxed or whatever. It doesn't bother me one bit. So
that's okay, Ozzy.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Give me a severance package that makes me happy? So
I used to always joke before I got out on my own, and now I'm officially a mercenary. I used to always joke and say, what are they going to do? Shave my head and send me to Iraq? Little did I know. Although now I don't have to shave my head to do it, so I mean, like I'm moving up in the world, I guess.
So you're officially not active duty anymore, Pips, or reserves, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm on reserve duty, so I'm flying helicopters again. Doing that for the weekend here. Had to leave the wife. You
don't fly helicopters for your Merc work?
No, fixed wing job.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, make sure nobody fires a missile next weekend over Iran. Okay, that would be good. Appreciate that.
It's interesting. I've got to shoot some messages to some guys that I know who are out there right now and see how it's going.
Yeah, well, if you hear any back channel stuff, tell me. I can always cancel if it's life is too short for me to risk it. Actually, hopefully nobody's listening to this right now, but one of the things that actually makes me the most paranoid is we just fired a guy. He was bringing his religious fervor to work too much, if you will.
Yeah.
And we let him go this week, I think on Tuesday. And I'm hoping he doesn't.
This is in Pakistan or in the U.S.?
Pakistan. Yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm going to visit, as is the guy who let him go, a guy that works for me, that works for him, let him go. So he's like 3 levels below, but still he knows I'm the boss. And so, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, that's the thing that actually worries me the most.
Yeah,
This guy shows up, at So
Ozzy's gonna go to the fucking Marriott in Karachi, just like Zero Dark 30.
We kind of manage it like a Western outfit, and we got a lot of female employees, and they don't all wear burqas, and there's Pakistan's pretty mixed in the sort of fervor, and this guy would just harass the non-burqa wearing employees, and we just finally had enough of it. So this is just not. I'm sorry, if you're going to work for us, you have to. It's not like we're making you live by American and Canadian ideals, but you got to at least be tolerant of who are good employees. So, anyways,
a situation on the university that I'm hoping gets addressed and resolved, and it's over the summer, over the past convocation. Everybody gets dressed up, right? And I was walking around campus, and there was a bunch of groups of guys who are clearly not there for convocation, but they're all of a certain ethnicity from that region of the world, taking pictures of random girls in their dresses and stuff.
Nice.
That is absolutely creepy beyond belief.
Yeah.
And that's just not how things are played out over here.
Yeah.
But of course, nothing's happened because the university is a institution of cowards and.
Yeah. When has it not been, Gadfly? I'm setting us up for another. Yeah, setting us up for another 3 hours of stream.
We can have another stream about that, but I will have to go back to 1126 to explain it all.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky nobody's watching, so nobody will watch. But
well, Ozzy, the one thing I'll say is I would 100% reach out to the airline and ask them about their routing. So they should, if you ask them, they should disclose whether or not they're going to route the aircraft through Iranian airspace. So I know, for example, British Airways, this was early in the Ukraine conflict, like back in 2014, 2015, something like that. Remember, there was the Amsterdam flight that got shot down, right?
Yeah.
So Malaysia Airlines, and that's what I was going to.
It was going to Amsterdam. That's right. Yeah.
No, there was an Amsterdam to Malaysia flight, and it just so happened it's the only flight that decided to fly through Ukrainian airspace because every other fucking airline was avoiding Ukraine, and it got shot down.
Yeah.
With 250 people on board.
I would definitely say hey, if they're not saying, so like I think it was British Airways, there's a couple others who like publicly came out and said, like, we are going to, like, our flight schedule is going to be changed. There's flights that are going to take, a couple hours longer. We will not fly through this airspace. And so it's worth just checking, like, hey, this airline, what are they doing? And if they're not going to make a positive statement, I would say, yeah, pick a different itinerary or pick a different airline and just say, cool, hey, I'll take an extra half day to get there, but I'm going to go, I'm going to fly down to somewhere else and then cross over.
And if you're not comfortable with it, make sure your guys aren't taking the flights they're booked on now. And I'm serious, like, you're going the other way around the world. So whether you go through Dubai or not doesn't really matter. Seoul, Singapore,
the only reason I bring it up
is the direct. It's Emirates is who are flying on it. It's direct from Seattle to Dubai. It's just a one hop. You only have the one stop. But yeah, we could go other ways. Look, on my flight out, there's only one other person from my company on it. But a lot of us are going. Most of my team guys that report to me are going.
I just bring it up. It's one of those like black swan sort of things or whatever that, like, we've seen it happen enough. I mean, and it's not just the Ukrainians. I mean, the Vincennes incident, right? So a U.S. cruiser shot down an airliner in the Persian Gulf back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And there was obviously the one in Ukraine that we just talked about. Like, this shit happens. So I think if you're not convinced that they're taking the current measures seriously enough, because you don't know what's going to be in a week, but I think it's like unlikely to be better in a week.
but even flying into Dubai, right? Because it's not just Iranian airspace; it's the whole, like, Middle East. If he's coming from anywhere northerly,
if war breaks out, that's out. We're out.
It's breaking out right now.
But we'll have to definitely catch up on that.
So I would definitely look at what the situation is, see if the airline is promising to avoid stuff, and then potentially look at, like, hey, maybe we just postpone this and we say, let's just proactively cancel this trip. We'll come out in a week or a month or something like that when we have a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah, because I'm gonna actually be there during the election, which also doesn't throw me. So
yeah.
Stupid business sucks, man.
Pakistan's election or the
U.S.
or
election.
yours? Oh yeah.
Like I said, you and I are I think flying on the same day. So I'm also going to be out there during the U.S. election, which I'm looking at as maybe a nice thing, because
it might actually be a positive. I'll be halfway around the world, exactly 12 hours from Seattle when whoever wins.
We'll be able to be awake in the middle of the night when the strange numbers start coming in,
Yeah, exactly.
Or when your house burns down.
Counting the phantom absentee ballots.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey.
All right, lads.
I guess Gadfly stepped out here. I feel bad. Oh, there he is.
There you are, Gadfly.
I don't know.
It's
do we
super
want to
late.
I
think we just spent the last half hour talking about Ozzy's travel itinerary.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Well, hey, I wish you safe travels.
You too, Peps.
Gadfly. Good luck with the continuation and going through with your paper and your submission and all that stuff.
Paper,
Sorry to anyone else who watched this because it was a Zoom call.
Yeah, and Dane, Fitzy, my brother.
I mean, that's sort of by design, right? Like, we were just hanging out, and I'm glad that we got to hang out and have some drinks and do this.
Me too, Pips. Thanks for inviting me.
And if it wasn't for the fact that you were just busy editing, how many hours of rewatch that don't need editing? We'd have something up on our channel in the last 3 months.
All right, fine.
No,
I will do some editing this week.
No, it doesn't need any. You just, like, cut out the dead space, put the overlay on. Like, come on, it shouldn't take this long.
Dane,
Put
get the writing, okay? Get to writing.
am.
Putting the overlay on is the thing that actually it takes a fair amount of time.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry. Then we should just like fuck it.
Just
No one
put the
cares.
overlay on the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe that would
All right.
honestly, if we just had
There
the
you
overlay
go.
on the entire time, that would make the editing process.
Just overlay it. All right, guys.
All right,
Good
thanks
night.
everybody for joining, and the no one in the chat. Thanks for dipping out when it was opportune to do so.
Yeah,
About
the white
45
clothes.
minutes ago.
See you guys all later.
See you guys. Thanks for listening.